Cool. Welcome everybody to the monthly Mindset Q&A, December 2022. For those who are new to this, essentially what's going to be happening is we're going to have a Q&A period of roughly 45 minutes. And then I'll share 5 minutes about how to work with me. And then after that, for about 10 to 15 minutes, I'm going to share, I guess, like I always have like a lesson or something that I want to share with you guys after I help you guys out with anything that you have issues with or struggling with. For those who are here on the live call, I'm going to give you guys a bonus later on, so definitely stick around for that. And with that being said, actually, before I get into that, with that being said, rules of engagement. So what does that mean? If you guys can, try to put your phone to do not disturb so you can be fully present. There may be one thing that you hear or that I mentioned that may like switch everything for you, and just click that switch. So do your best to be fully present here. Again, there is the replay. So, if you do miss anything, you can refer to that, but just do the best you can to just be fully present. Second, no question is a dumb question. So literally any question that you may have, definitely ask it. We're all here to learn and grow together. And with that being said, the floor is open. You can type in your question in the chat or just come off mute. Stop sharing this for now. All right, looks like everybody's shy today. So I'll just answer some questions that some people sent me that couldn't attend this. So I had a gentleman hit me up today. Coin, shout out to you. Whenever you see this. They shared with me that they have actually been taking some time off from trading to essentially just focus on themselves and their mental health, and like honestly just taking better care of themselves and self-care, stuff like that. And one of the biggest things that I learned when I was trading, or even during my trading career, that self-care and taking care of your well-being is one of the biggest things when it comes to your trading career. Because one thing I've noticed, well, I guess I'll share with you a little bit about myself. I've been trading for about 3 years now. I've been trading full time for about 7, almost 8 months now, and coaching traders and individuals for roughly, well, honestly, almost 3 years as well. So one thing that I learned during my early trading career is that what self-care and like well-being with your personal life is going to affect your trading in either a good way or a bad way, depending how your personal life is. So when I first started trading, I wasn't doing well. I was going through a lot of things in my personal life, and like with my family, things like that. And it was affecting my trading a lot because I was making money. But then, when all those things started to happen, I started realizing, I'm like, bro, like what's going on? Like I know how to trade, but my P&L is not showing that. And like, I was like, during that time, I guess to be vulnerable, I was super depressed, going through a lot of like family issues. My mother was sick, a lot of things. So I was experiencing a lot at the time. So it wasn't after I met my personal coach, or my personal life coach, that he really like flipped everything around for me. He got me back on track with my personal life. I was like, bro, it was like truly night and day. I'm happier than I've ever been. Me and my relationship with my girlfriend is the best it's ever been. My friends, my family, all that stuff is like so much better. There's like structure, discipline, all that stuff in my life now. So one thing I noticed is that when I got my personal life together, that's when my trading really took off and started changing for the better, because I was getting proper sleep. I was focused. I wasn't like, scattered everywhere. I wasn't like desperate. I wasn't frustrated, all those things. So all that to say is that it's okay not to trade every single day. It's okay to take a day off. It's okay to take care of yourself, because we can't show up to be our best versions if we're not at our best. It's as simple as that. So one of the things for me was that was messing my trading up is my lack of sleep, having no routines, no workouts, literally nothing. So once I got all those habits back into place, it really helped me, because now I go to bed on time, at least for the most part. I'm working a lot of projects right now. Um, I I wake up on time, do all my routines, do all that stuff, do what I need to do to take care of myself. Also, I take one day off during the trading week to just chill, not trade, just support people, like students, clients, things like that, and other Discord groups and my own. But yeah, definitely take a day off. It'll definitely help you clear up your mind and not like just always be on, because trading, we're always on and looking at screens, charts, all that other stuff. Let me know if all that made sense. Thumbs up in the chat. Yes, in the chat. Esper said, for those who are seeing the replay, she or he said, sorry, I don't really know your gender, but they said, hi, I got trauma from my training experience from the beginning of the year. It's made me scared and lazy, where I am discouraged to do charting and work on the business. How can I overcome this struggle? Because I keep learning about trading but never take action. Thank you. Esper, a great question. And thank you so much for bringing that up, because that happened to me as well. Like the trauma of trading and stuff like that. Um, so one thing that happened, hello, Ted. Sorry, my dog, or my girl's dog. One thing that happened to me is during that dark time in my early trading career, I took big losses, and that really messed me up mentally for a while. So it caused a lot of fear, and caused a lot of trauma regarding money. One thing that I would recommend for you to do is write down what you're afraid of. Like write down like what you think may be blocking you, because we can't really know fully what's stopping us or what's like hindering us without actually laying it down, because we can have things in our head, but if it's laid down, it'll help us. All right, cool, it's on paper now, let me build steps from here. Also, this is perfect, I'm glad I actually brought this with me. Read this book, Money is My Friend. It's going to help you relieve some fear that you may have surrounding money, and also from the losses that you have incurred from your trading. Also, another thing that I want to mention is, I'll touch on this a little more later on, but just for now, our brain does not um, like uncertain situations, and the stock market is basically uncertain. There's nothing certain about the market. It's only probability. So when our brain gets into these uncertain situations, then we go into full panic mode. That emotional trigger happens instantly. It goes to our brain, and our brain is like, hey, we got to get out of here. We got to stop doing this. So the trauma that you feel or that you're experiencing is your brain. Every time it thinks of trading, it immediately brings up that emotional response, and it's attaching fear with trading. And our brain does not like to be in fear. It likes to get us out of that situation. So what is your brain doing in your case? Because you took some, more than likely from what I get from your message is that you took some big losses. And because of that, now you're afraid of trading the stock market, or just the markets in general, because every time you even think about taking a trade, your brain is immediately bringing up that pattern and that memory. Hey, trading is scary. Let's not do this. So again, read that book, Money is My Friend. I'll actually make a note of it to just send it to everybody in the follow-up email after the session. Send Money is My Friend. Cool. With that being said, let me know if that helps and if that makes sense. Perfect. And also another thing, for those who do subscribe to this, um, for those who do subscribe to this, when it comes to like chakras and things like that, again, if anybody subscribes to this, I'm a believer of that. The root chakra is like where our fears and all that, and like stability and all that stuff resides. So usually it's generated from that area. So you can do some root chakra healing as well, which may help you. I'm just putting that out there. Perfect. Yeah. So Ja gets it. Perfect. Beautiful. Actually, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna send you this embodiment practices. I usually send it only to my students, but since you guys are here and I'm in a great mood and I love to help you, I'm gonna send it to you. Send embodiment practice. So this practice, it's gonna be well, actually, I'll send it to you in the email and you'll look at it there. I'll send it in the text file, so like your email's not like an essay long. But it's gonna be a technique that I myself used to help unblocking my chakra or my root chakra, and like really releasing some fears that I had, especially around trading and other areas of my life. So I'll send that to you. And Ja, thank you so much for sharing that and your vulnerability. For those who are watching the replay, he mentioned that he cried from trading twice. Again, it can be scary and traumatizing, like this is money, and money is like for our security, for our food, for our rent, for all that stuff. So like losing that, dude, like my biggest loss in trading, I think it was like 4.5K. When I took that loss, that was like the beginning of like my dark point in my early career. So that was the biggest one for me. Um, and yeah, like that was a rough time for me. All right, Ted, relax. I'm on a call now. I guess he wants to join everyone or join us. Anyway, yeah, that was a big one for me, and it took me a long time to like really, really get over that. So where all right, Mr. Want attention because he knows I'm helping you. And anyway, so all right, here we go. Look at this guy. All right, Mr. Ted has joined us in the call. All right, next questions, please.
All right. I know I struggle with this, and I'm sure most people do. What are some tips or some suggestions you have in order to help us with patience when it comes to trading? Like waiting for triggers to actually trigger, waiting for your setups to actually be confirmed to move in your direction before you enter the trade.
So one thing that will help for your trading, for your patience is some tips that I'll recommend that I do. And is it this for a day trade or for swinging?
Yeah, day trades. I only day trade. I don't swing trade yet.
Perfect. So honestly, do you use this Thinkorswim? I forget if it has, but does it have bracket orders? Like if you can get in on an option trade and do like a take profit stop loss?
Yeah, they do.
Perfect. So, and I think it has that feature where when you input the price, it'll like buy the contract for you, correct?
Yeah, you could set the limit price automatically, so it'll
Perfect.
trigger when it hits that price.
So, oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. Let me put him inside the house. Somebody let him out. apologize for that. So what I recommend for you is use that feature. So once it hits that price, either it triggers a limit buy or to get you in at that price point. Also, let me ask you this. When you get impatient, what do you feel? Like in
Honestly,
like in
I
the sense
get
of like, um do you have some like any thought patterns that come up?
nah, it's just emotional. It's excitement.
So
Um,
when it comes to getting emotional during your trading, Jay said anxiety. Yeah, that definitely happens a lot. And we'll go over some of that, the emotional stuff as well. Like you guys can share any of that. But to answer your question, Ja, one thing that you can practice, which I'm a big advocate for, and I teach to all my students, is breathing exercises. Breathing exercises are going to help slow down the emotional process and bring you back to your logical mind. Because when you're there sitting down and you have your you got your trade, you got to chart out, cool. Once this does this, I'm gonna get in. Once this does that, I'm gonna get out, take my profit, whatever it may be. But as you're waiting for that, now the the excitement, the like impatience is coming up, like, hey, I want to get in here. Like, I want to get in here now. But that's your emotional mind speaking because um well, I'll share this briefly, but more than likely there's an underlying issue under the impatience. And I'll share that in a bit. So one thing that I recommend you to do is practice on your breathing exercises. One of the best ones that I do or that I personally love is box breathing. Box breathing is great because it has you basically stop and go in sections or segments in the breathing exercise. Are you familiar with box breathing at all?
no, not.
Anybody else familiar with box breathing? Perfect. All right, cool. So actually, since I have you guys here, we'll go over a quick little exercise together then. So box breathing, super simple. You're gonna breathe in through your nose for let's do 4 seconds. 4 seconds through the nose. You're gonna hold it for 4 seconds. Then you're gonna breathe in. Exhale through your mouth for 4 seconds, and then with empty lungs or as empty as you got it in those 4 seconds, hold your breath, and then restart the cycle. So breathe in 4 seconds through the nose, hold for 4 seconds, then breathe out for 4 seconds, and then hold for 4 seconds. And then you could do that for 2, 3 minutes, or minute, 2, 3, 5 minutes, however long it needs until you come back to your logical state. Also, very, very, very important. You need to breathe when you do this from your belly. Don't breathe from your chest, because when you're breathing from your chest, your brain and your body thinks there's danger around. And when it comes to trading and we're in those excited states, when we're in those fearful states, our brain doesn't care what it is. If it's trading, if I don't know, if there's like some weird noise in your house, you're going to start breathing from your chest. So when we breathe from our belly, it's sending a signal to our brain, hey, there's no danger. We're calm. We're relaxed. We're chilling. Because I'm pretty sure when you guys are laying down, um, when you're laying down in your room or watching TV, you're just breathing from your belly. You're not breathing from your chest, you know. Or even let me tell you this: for those who exercise, when you're running and you're breathing and you stop exercising, when you're done, you're breathing from your chest because your body's in like a almost like an excited state. So I'll mute you real quick, Lynette. Let me know when you want to be unmuted. Anyway, so um breathe from your belly, very, very, very important. It's going to assist as well to send your brain the signal, hey, there's no danger. We're fine. Everything's okay. We can calm down now. We're good. So Lynette, since you just came in, I'm gonna right now we're gonna do a breathing exercise together, which is box breathing. We're gonna breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds. We're gonna hold our breath for 4 seconds. Then we're gonna exhale through the mouth for 4 seconds. And then we are going to hold our breath again after we exhale for 4 seconds. And we could do 3 or 4 rounds just for the sake of time and stuff like that. Cool. So everybody can close your eyes, and I'll give you guys about 5 seconds to do that. You can sit up straight if you choose to, or stand up. Actually, sit down if you're new to this, because I do recommend doing this as an FYI. Do not do this when you're driving or operating any machinery. Only do this when you're sitting down at home comfy. Because if you are new to this and you do it for too long, you may well, passing out is very, very rare, but that's a possibility. So with that being said, with your eyes closed, breathing through your nose, and I'll count us in. So breathe in through the nose and from your belly, 2, 3, 4. Hold it, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in through the nose, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. Exhale to the mouth, 2, 3, 4. Hold, 2, 3, 4. And then go at your own pace for 2 more rounds, and then we'll reconvene. I'll let you know when the last segment is. Last one. Cool. And you can open your eyes when you're done and let me know how that was for you. Then let me know in the chat. You can come off mute. Either one.
No, I appreciate it. I definitely need to breathe more when I'm sitting here in the mornings.
Beautiful. And again, with box breathing, it's gonna cause you to you have to stop what you're doing and really focus. All right, and then count. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4. I usually do 6 seconds. And yeah, like CJ said, it's a great mindfulness practice as well. It'll allow you to be like, oh crap, like my emotions are taking over me. I gotta slow down and really do this. So I recommend, Ja, when you start feeling that, really start to do the process before it takes you over, because it's a lot harder to think logically and to remember that when it's already too late, when the process has already begun. Because I'm sure you yourself, I have in the past, and others in here have had moments where you're trading, your emotional brain takes over, and then after you're calmed down, you're like, what was I thinking? I would never do that. And that's the emotional mind, here to take you out of your good trades.
Last FOMC.
Exactly. Yep. So with all that being said, that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Cool. More questions, please. Oh, sorry, Ja, one last thing. Whoever wants to ask a question, you can come off mute or just type it in the chat. Get a Post-it note or like a little note and keep it on your monitor and put remember to breathe. That way you have a visual, you can visually see it in case you forget emotionally.
Yeah, I have this little dry erase board I have right in front of me.
Perfect, perfect. Cool. More questions, please. And again, this can be for trading, for your regular life, everything. Like while I do mainly trade, I mean, sorry, while I do mainly teach traders, I am also a life coach. So,
Oh, and to add to that, if I may,
yeah, of course.
cold showers in the morning help with anxiety and controlling your emotions. If
100%.
if you could tolerate a good 3 minutes and slowly build that up, I did that this summer. It definitely helps with anxiety and keeping control of your emotions.
100%. Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that. Hey, CJ said he does a cold rinse every shower. Very nice. Very nice.
It hurts, but it helps.
It definitely does. Definitely does. Okay. More questions. Or yeah, again, of anything, trading, life, all that stuff. And also to make it super, super clear, like I mentioned, literally anything you want to ask me. Um, well, if you want me to check a ticker for you, a chart, anything, I'll do that for you. So Esper said, how to work on discipline. I can go for 3 to 5 days, then I'm back to old routine that doesn't work. So a practice that definitely helps is, let me ask you, Esper, do you write down your goals? And let me be more specific. Um, in your discipline, do you mean in the sense of like your personal life, or in the sense of with trading, or just both?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, I'm Esber. So to answer your question, I know what I have to do to for my life overall to become better, including relationships, work, trading, but I am not disciplined enough to follow up on these goals. I know what I have to do, but I do it for a couple days, and then slowly but surely I go back to my old routine. So sorry.
Go on. No, go on.
So it doesn't become a habit. It just, hey, I tried it out, but I'm back to my old self.
So just to reflect back and to make sure I'm understanding you, right now you're having trouble with truly sticking to the new routines and disciplines that you put forth for yourself, correct?
Yes, as you said in the beginning, I mean, personal life will affect my trading. If I am not disciplined in my personal life, I will not be disciplined in my trading.
100%.
I would like to become disciplined. It's just hard.
It can be difficult, but you know, and before I say anything, this goes for everybody as well. Do I have your permission, Esper, and everybody else, to be as fully transparent and honest and direct with all of you?
Please do.
All right, perfect.
Yes.
So Esper, there might be a few things here. More than likely, there may be some comfortability that you may have, because in reality, if we truly want to make that change, we will make it happen. But comfortability may go into maybe getting in your way. Like for example, before I go into more things, like for me, when I first started like trading and like bettering my life, I hated waking up early. If you let me out, I will wake up at 11 a.m., 12 noon every day. However, in order to get to the life that I want, I needed to make changes. So one thing that you can do is this: write down where you're currently at and write down where your future self is at. The one that has completed your goals. Like, for example, is just for the sake of the conversation, let's just say your goal in trading is to make, actually, give me one of your disciplines that you're working on.
I would, I guess, go to gym every morning before trading.
All right, perfect. And why do you want to go to the gym?
Other than the health benefits, it's just something that makes me disciplined. I'm just trying to be disciplined, and that's an action that I can be disciplined in.
All right, let's dig a little deeper. So besides being healthy, you want the going to the gym will help you build that discipline, which will bleed into will go into your other life areas, correct?
Yes.
Cool. So I'm gonna ask you a few more questions. With going to the gym, you're having trouble sticking to it. And are you giving yourself like a really big plan? Like, I'm gonna go to the gym Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Are you doing that?
Yes, I actually made a whole schedule starting from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. I even have it as a lock screen background on my phone. But as I told you, I went like maybe 3-4 days with it, and then I just stopped.
Did you get like overwhelmed?
Maybe it's unrealistic expectations.
So yeah, that's what I was gonna mention. So, you want to ease your nervous system into something new. You don't want to go like 0 to 100 immediately. So for example, in your schedule that you made, which is fantastic, by the way, I have one myself. I schedule my week ahead of time. For those who don't do that, definitely get on that. How long is your gym session?
45 minutes.
45 minutes. So this is what I recommend you do. Go to the gym for 10 minutes every single day. Do one exercise, 2 exercises, doesn't matter. Go for 10, 15 minutes maximum every single day. And then every week or every 2 weeks, increase that time. Cool. So for the first week, I'm going to go for 15 minutes. The second week, I'm going to go for 20. Third week, 25, et cetera, until you reach the goal that you have, which is 45 minutes. So don't try to do everything at once. Just ease yourself up to that. For example, well, before I continue, does that make sense?
Yes, it does. Start slow, basically.
Exactly. So, because like for me, when I started meditating, people are like, yeah, I do like 30, 40 minutes and I'm just chilling. But I started with 5 minutes and that was a little hard for me. But I did 5 minutes for 2 weeks. Then I did 10 minutes for 2 weeks. And then I did 15 minutes after that. And now I could do like 30 minutes, no problem. But also on top of that, what I want you to do is write down where you're currently at. Where's Esper at right now? Where does Esper want to be in 1 month? Where does he want to be in 3 months? And where does he want to be in a year? This is going to lay down your whole plan or your outlook for the next year. And this is going to help you break all those goals down in steps that you can take. And another thing, which is really powerful to ask yourself is this, and Jay's in here, so he knows what I'm talking about. Also, Jay, I muted you. So if you want to come off mute, just let me know and I'll take you off mute. So one thing that you can ask yourself, a really, really, really powerful phrase is, what am I doing now? And what is my future self doing to be at that a point that he's at? For example, what is Esper that is going to the gym 45 minutes for a day or whatever it may be? What is disciplined Esper doing that I am not doing now? And what can I do to be in alignment with that? And also remind yourself for those things. For example, let's say future Esper is going to the gym 45 minutes a day. If you wake up in the morning and you're like, you know what? I'm lazy today. I don't want to go to the gym. Ask yourself, what is future Esber doing? Is he making excuses? Is he just saying, oh, I'm tired, or I'm lazy? No. Future Esber is getting his ass up and he's going to the gym when he said he was. Not only that, one thing that I would share with you as well is every time we make a commitment to ourselves and we don't do it, our brain is you're programming your brain to be like, you're not serious. This is the 10th time you've done this. Let's just stay in bed today. I want to sleep a little more. And then what's going to happen? You're negotiating. Your brain is negotiating to keep you where you are. But you cannot negotiate with your brain when it comes to getting where you want to be. Let me know if that's making sense before I continue.
Yes, very much. Thank you.
You're welcome. So again, always ask yourself, what is future Esber doing? And is what I'm doing now in alignment with that? And if it isn't, what can I do to be in alignment with that and go do that? If you are in alignment, cool. Keep on doing what you're doing. So again, start slow. Go 10 minutes a week or 10 minutes a day, whatever however many days you go to the gym, go for 10 minutes a day. Just do that for a week or two. And then slowly build that up until you get to your 45-minute goal. And please reach out to me and let me know how that goes for you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Jay. Truly, truly appreciate you. Very nice. Cool. So next question. Ant said ATVI. So all right, let me get here. Wants me to look at ATVI. Let me know if you guys can see my screen.
What's that indicator you have on the right side of your screen, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, this thing, my boy made it for me. So I plug in the charts, or the tickers that I want. And right now it's scanning for 3 1s, 2 1s, double inside, triple inside, hammers or shooters. So let's say, for example, right now I'm on the daily time frame. These specific stocks or pairs or futures are showing me they have these signals on it right now. So if I go to Amazon.
Oh, how much you want for that?
Whoever wants this script, just message me directly and we'll talk.
I got you. I'll DM you on IG.
Sounds good. And with this thing, you literally just input whatever pairs you want and make your own watch list. So boom, 2 1, hammer or shooter. And then if I go to the 4 hour, it's going to show me every pair that has a 2 1 or 3 1 or whatever on that time frame.
Oh yeah, I definitely need that. That's all I look for.
There you go. All righty. So back to ATVI. And are you looking to go long, short? Perfect. Lynette, if you can, message me on Discord, Reddit, or Instagram, wherever you know me from, just so I can keep track of who wants it. Please and thank you. I appreciate that. So Ant, are you looking to go long, short, or do you just want my overall analysis? Oh, cool. So you want to go long? All right, so let me just go here to make the chart a little cleaner. Let's see what's going on. All right, so 4 hour triggered a 212 bullish bull rev. Daily's inside. 1 hour's okay. Let's check the weekly. Weekly's still red. Created 3 monthly still green. Nice, 2 up. Quarterly is green. Looks like it's reversing back up, which is good. All right. So, and are you looking to swing this, day trade? Cool. So, two different options. I personally don't necessarily trade continuations. I mainly trade reversals. So if it were me, also putting this out there, disclaimer, this is all educational, no financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. Cool. Putting that out there. Anyway, if it were me, I would wait until the day breaks up and take this 2-1-2 up. The 4-hour was an early entry. However, I would look to take this on the daily trigger. I would get in with a starter position, and I would wait for a TTO on a smaller time frame, whether it be the 30-minute, 15-minute, maybe even the 5-minute, to get in the rest of my position. But for a day trade, I usually look for a TTO on the 15-minute or 30-minute, because the 5-minute sometimes may just be like an intraday move. So yeah, I would go long on the break of this inside bar on the daily. You can, it looks like, hold on, let me actually map this out real quick. Not array, horizontal. So, yep. Perfect. Yeah. So I will go long here, daily, long, daily, 4-hour long trigger. And then technically the first target strat wise is right here, but that's way too close. And I don't really care about that. Yeah, it's like 10, 20 cents away. It's not really worth it. So this will be TP1 4-hour. Then TP2 4-hour. 2 4-hour. And then, oh, actually TP2 4-hour and daily TP1. So what you can do is you can take, well, what I would do is I would take the long trigger from here, wait for a TTO, add in the rest of your position. And then I would take some profits here on the first target of the 4-hour, then the second, and then, you know, just keep on going back, adding more targets as you continue up. But yeah, I would definitely look to do that. Let me check something actually as well. So the week will trigger green here, weekly trigger 2 up. Cool. So now I know as it moves up here, it's going to trigger the week and make it a green 2 up, which will be great and be in my favor. Or it will be a 3-2 a bullish reversal. This will be a 3-2 bullish continuation, if I recall correctly. And it's also, I recommend, you know, you writing these things down so you know visually, oh, all right, cool, the week is going to flip green and a continuation or whatever. So you have that visually there. Cool. Made sense? Let me know before I continue. Cool, perfect. Let me see. Let me go back real quick. So King Omari said, when choosing an options contract, what do you generally look for in that contract? So for me, I'm very, very picky with the contracts that I choose, in the sense of, and also the stocks that I trade. For example, I usually try to leave pharmaceutical stocks alone because the spreads are pretty wide. I like to look for spreads that are less than like 0.05, or like usually 0.010, sometimes 0.15 is my max. Like I don't trade bigger stocks that have like those big spreads, like Meta will have like a 0.20 spread. I don't like those stocks personally, so I just leave them alone. Again, my personal preference. If it works for you, definitely keep on doing it. But I look for the delta. I look for high deltas. I look for time. If I'm swinging something, I want at least 14 days minimum. If I'm looking for a swing on a weekly, I usually do 30 days to 45 DTEs minimum, because I like to be, I'm a pretty conservative trader. So I like to have time. I don't want to worry about, oh, the time's gonna run out or blah, blah, blah. Granted, I'm gonna be out of the trade by then because it's going against me. However, I like to see a lot of OI. I like the spreads to be as tight as possible. I like the deltas to be pretty high. I usually get in the money or at the money contracts. I usually get in the money or out the money contracts. Because I want to get as much delta as I can in my favor. And if it goes against me, it is what it is. But usually, you know, with our best setups, they have a high win rate. So the winners are going to outbid the losers. So with that being said, yeah, I look for usually tight spreads. I look for a good amount of open interest. If I'm day trading, I don't really care much about theta, although it does go into consideration because you don't want to hold a contract that's going to destroy your premium. So again, open interest, high deltas, good, you know, good Greeks overall. And if I'm swinging, I'm usually going 14 days or more off a 4-hour or daily trigger. If it's a weekly, I'm going to look for 30 days to 45 days minimum. And I usually look for monthly contracts, something very important. Because weekly contracts, depending on your broker, you might see like there'll be a date that it'll just, like, you know, give the date. But some of them other ones, it'll say like weekly if you think you swim. Webull will have like a W in parentheses, which means a weekly contract. Usually the monthlies have a lot more open interest and the spreads are a little tighter. However, when it's same week expiration, they usually have usually tighter spreads depending what you're trading and a decent amount of OI. Let me know if that answers your question.
I have a question.
Sorry.
How do you know when a trade is going against you during a swing and that it's not a TTO?
Sorry, say it again.
So when you enter trade, when do you realize that the trade is going against you, and how can you like not justify it as a TTO? You know.
This is CJ talking, right? Just to make sure.
Yes.
Perfect.
And
So, sorry, say it again. No,
I follow the strategy.
No. You can stay off mute. That's fine. So to answer to make sure I'm on the same page, you're asking how do I know that the trade is a TTO as opposed to a reversal?
Yeah, I was kind of asking like once you enter a trade and you know it's going, then like kind of has like it starts to pull back. How do you know it's not going against you completely and that you should get out, or that it's like a TTO and it's going like just pulling back to keep going? Like I'm confused about that, like getting out of the trade early or you know staying in it when it's pulled back.
Let me show. Hold on 1 sec. Let me just move this chat a little to the side. Admit. Sorry, people are coming in. I gotta get an assistant to bring people in. Welcome everybody. So for those who just came in, CJ asked, how do I know a trade is not going against me versus a TTO, and what I do. So let's go to JPM. Whoever was here earlier in the day, this is what I mentioned. Everybody's gonna start coming at 9. All right, so let me just move this real quick. Sorry, bear with me. All this Zoom stuff is in the way. Let me turn this off, or actually, Let me bring this trade. Let me leave this really big and then go here. JPM. And let's find the session for Friday. Cool. All right, so the way I know if it's going against me or if it's not a TTO, stuff like that, is, let me bring this chart up. So this is Friday. So to me, if I was looking at this, let me just get the, so we're on the same page. All right, never use that. Use a rectangle instead. So we opened at 9:30. Cool. So at 9:30, the daily triggered up off this hammer and 2-2 continuation of the 4-hour. So the higher time frames are in my favor. Now on the smaller time frame here, we get the open, we get the pullback. Then you can go long on this 3 bull rev and chop for a bit. It completed the TTO here. Technically, this will be another TTO on the 5-minute. Go up, come down, keep on going, completed there. However, so TTO wise, those will be winning trades, obviously. But if it were to go against me, let's say if I were looking at this, near this right side of the triangle, I'm going to be looking for a signal that's gonna give me, an actionable signal up, whether it be a hammer, 2, 2-1-2, 3-1-2, whatever it may be, to continue the move. So if it does something like this, all right, cool. Breaks previous lows, breaks previous highs, then we get the hammer, hits the first target. However, gets some choppy action, hits second target, and then it just dies off. To me, that's a failed TTO, and it's just a reversal. And not only that, I entered this trade on the daily time frame. So let me reset this. Usually, if it's an in-force move, like this one, a double inside 2 up, and it comes back to entry, it is no longer in force. Which means I'm going to be looking to either shave off some of my position or just get out in full. Because my main thing here was I got in as a starter once it triggered. I took the TTO up, took some gains when I hit the target. I'm still in on my swings. However, once it pulled back and it died out like this, I just got out at break even for the rest of my position. And then the day closes a shooter. So it's a fail 2 up into a shooter. Let me know if that helped answer your question, or if you want me to expand a little more.
Yeah, that definitely helped out a little bit because I wouldn't have went about it that way and kind of ended the trade break.
Perfect. And again, for higher time frames,
even one small loss instead of hoping for a gain and then a big loss. So that definitely helped me.
Beautiful. And of course, always have your take profits, always have your stop losses set. Don't ever just just get in just to get in. Let's see, I was going to say something else. Completely forgot. Moving on. Also, really quickly, for those who did join at 9, I apologize for Calendly having technical issues. I actually started at 8 p.m., but I'm just going to, I'll probably go until 10 just for the discrepancy. So for those who are here now that joined around 9 p.m. Eastern, essentially, literally ask me any questions you want, whether it be trading, your personal life, anything, I'll help you out. Also, there's going to be a bonus that I'm going to share with you guys towards the end of the session. So stick around for that, for those who are here on the live. Cool. So CJ also asked, can you go over good risk management tips? Like what's a good tight stop loss, how to move your stops up, calculating risk reward. So CJ, with that being said, several things or several, I guess, guidelines that I myself use. I don't use more than 10% of my account in a single trade. In terms of tight stop loss, I don't necessarily like have, oh, I'm gonna have a 10% stop on the trade or 20% stop on this trade. It's literally whatever the trade gives me. I'm essentially just full strat. So let's see an example. Was this Coinbase? Daily. I took this trade on my personal account. So one thing that you can do to calculate your position, it's a little easier to see your risk reward when you are trading and when you are using, like when it's a swing trade, because it'll give you a little more time to plan the trade out. So you can use this tool on TradingView, the short position. So my entry is going to be here. Strat wise, my stop is going to be at the top of the candle. And then I'm going to be aiming for, usually this target here is like, the first target is right there. I don't really care about that. I'm going to be aiming for the first target here. So for this trade, I have a 21.34R or 1 to 23 or 1 to 21.34 risk reward ratio for those who are new to that. So you can use this tool to help you see what the risk reward is. Me personally, I do not take any trade that is less than 2. That's my personal preference. For those who I've worked with, my students, they know that I'm an extremely picky person. So if this 3-2 has, well, you know, based on the magnitude, if it doesn't have at least 2, I'm gonna let it go. Cool. I'll wait for the next one. Jay asked what the tool is. So right here on the right down here under the heart, or just on the left side, click on this section. Is going to be the short position tool. And you can go long position as well. It'll tell you long or short X, Y, and Z. Yep. Cool. And then risk management again. You want to calculate how much based on your own personal account and how much you're willing to lose. For example, for me, I don't like losing, or not that I don't like losing. I don't get into a trade that'll make my account lose more than 2.5%. Usually 2.5% of my account. So even if the setup is amazing, but if that stop loss will give me more, a bigger loss than 2.5% of my full account, I will not take the trade. I will let it go until I see a better setup. Let me know if that makes sense. So Mo Betta said, what do I mean? I don't let it go less than 2. So let's, oh, hold on. Sorry, guys. The dog is out. Apologies for that. Sorry, give me 1 sec. So what I mean by, oh, perfect. Thank you. Thank you. Cool. So what I mean, well, yeah, you answered it. For those who don't understand, Mo Betta asked, what do I mean I don't go less than a 2 risk reward, which means if my first target is here and my stop loss is here, My risk reward for this trade is 0.8, if you can see it. I'm not taking that trade. I'm not risking $100 to make $100. That doesn't make sense. I'm risking 100 to make 200, absolutely. But I'm not using anything more than that. So for those, cool. And again, risk management wise, when it, you know, based on the trade, and, you know, a lot of us trade options in here or futures, always use a position size specifically for what you're doing. Like if the option contract, if it hits your stop loss and it's more than your max loss that you're comfortable with, don't take the trade. Just wait until you get a better setup. It's going to help your patience and a lot of other things. So work on that. Let me know if that made sense, CJ. Yeah, so for example, Mo Better quickly asked a trade that's more than 2. This one on Bitcoin, when the target is this close, I don't really care for it, but you know, here's the magnitude down here. This one is 1 to 21.34. I'm taking that trade. Well, actually, I'm in that trade right now. So yeah, it's going great right now. So yeah, this trade I'm taking. I do use like high leverage, so I trimmed some off already. But anyway, yeah, this is a trade that's oof. And I'm telling you, patience is key. You don't need to trade every single day, making 1,000 trades a day. All you need is one good setup. 1 to 21.34. Anybody will take that trade. Sleep like a baby. Even right now, where it's at now, 9.5. Great trade. Beautiful. Cool. So with that being said, Ebony asked, and please let me know if I'm pronouncing your name right. I don't want to butcher nobody's name and make sure I'm respectful to everyone. Ebony asked, how did you go about transitioning from a 9 to 5 to trading full time? Was it stressful depending on trading profits when you became a full-time trader? So like I mentioned earlier, I'm very conservative and I like to be safe. So what I did was I was trading for what was it, like 2 years, no, about a year and change, about 2 years more or less. I was trading before I quit my job. I'm at about almost 3 years now. So one thing, oh, sorry, hold on. Whoever has your mic, it's hot. Turn it off if you can. Perfect. I'm glad that I pronounced your name right. So one thing that I did to help myself transition into a full-time trader was, like I said, I'm very conservative and I like to be safe. So with that being said, I did several things. As I was working my regular job, I was setting up enough money in my savings account and from the, you know, and from trading, that if anything ever went wrong, I have 2 years worth of fallback. Like I can pay all my bills for 2 years with no problem. Again, that's just me being how I am and me being safe and conservative. But there are some people who may do like 6 months of like all their stuff paid for, or 1 year or whatever. But I like to be comfy, and I did 2 years. So I did 2 years of that. And another thing that I did was make sure that you are consistently profitable before you even consider being a full-time trader. Because, hey, CJ, no problem. I'm going to email you the bonus later on, since you're not going to be here for the announcement. Also, for those who just joined, I'm going to share a bonus with y'all later on. So stick around for that. So, so yeah, Ebony, make sure, and anybody, before you even consider being full-time and quitting your job, make sure that you are profitable consistently. Not like, oh, I did well for like 2 weeks or a month. I'm saying at least 4 to 5 months in a row, 6 months in a row, if you can. Maybe even a year straight, if that helps you. But again, this is all dependent. It's all dependent on
What is it, babe?
It's all dependent on what works best for you. Again, for myself, I did 2 years of like all my bills and stuff ready. And then I made sure I was profitable before I went full-time trading. And then the other question she asked, actually, I'm not sure if I asked or if I said the question out loud for whoever's viewing the replay, but she asked, how did you go about transitioning from a 9 to 5 to trading full-time? Was it stressful depending on trading profits when you became a full-time trader? So yes, the journey to become profitable was stressful. However, another thing happened that I didn't really account for, because right now I'm 32 years old. Don't let my face confuse you or throw you off. I've been, as a lot of us have, we've been working for more than half our lives. So one thing that was scary for my nervous system and my mind that I didn't really anticipate was not like working for someone else anymore, because I've been so used to that my whole life. So even though I was doing great in my trading and I was ready to transition, it was still scary for my nervous system because I've never only relied on myself for money. I've only ever been, cool, I'm going to the job and I'm guaranteed by exchanging my time that I'm going to get paid. As opposed to, here I am trading, and if my setup doesn't appear that day, I'm not getting paid. So throwing that out there, that's something that really that I was not aware of when I transitioned, and it took a little reconfiguring of my mind to like release that. And again, give yourself grace. We're human. Like, it's scary being your own boss and a lot of other things. Let me know if that answered your question, Ebony.
Yes, you answered it very well. I appreciate it. And just even the part where you talked about you were so used to working for somebody else, like just getting out of that mindset. Was there like a book or anything that you read to like help you reframe your mind from now being your own boss, or was it just with time and experience?
Books?
If I can add that too.
There's a lot.
Listen, I'm so sorry.
I can't remember the ones during that time, but I'll tell you one recently.
Okay.
Well, my brain just turned off when I went to go tell you. Man, hold on. Let me look it up. I have it here. Sorry about that. Sorry, actually, I think I have it on my phone. Bear with me, thank you. And I think I posted this in the books Hungry's likes, if you are in 100K's group.
Yeah, I'm in 100K. This is Ed. That's my Discord name.
Perfect. What to say when you talk to yourself. That is a really, really great book, because when I was going through that point, my brain was like, hey, this is scary. We should go back to working a regular job where it's safe, and you're gonna get paid by exchanging your time, as opposed to this like scariness and uncertainty. Even though I was profitable, but I had that reaction based on what I was used to in my own life. So with that book, it's going to help you work on the way things that you say to yourself. So instead of me saying, hey, let's go back to that job, it's comfy, it's secure, which is not, no job is secure. So instead, I told myself, hey, look, this is what I'm doing. I'm committed to seeing this through no matter what. I'm going to go as far as it takes or as far as I need to make this a thing. And here I am. I already did the first step, quit my job. So there is no more, hey, let's go back to this. No. Every time that thought came up, I did the opposite. You are your own boss. You trade, you're a full-time trader, you're a full-time coach. This is what you do. You would never, ever work for somebody else ever again. You will work with people, but you will never work for somebody again. Brown Ocean, I'm muting you. When you want to talk, let me know and I'll unmute you. Let me know if that resonated. Hit a yes on the chat. Thank you. Perfect. And Mo Betta said, I'm sorry if this is a repeat question, but do you enter off the daily? I find when I get in on higher time frames, the trade turns against me, and that makes me mentally not want to get in a trade. Cool. So let me ask you a question. And you can come off mute if you want to. If not, you can just keep on typing in the chat. When you get in off a daily time frame, are you putting in your full position? And what I mean about a full position is if you're going to put 1,000, do you put your full 1,000 in that trade once it hits your daily trigger? Cool. So again, when you're taking these trades, that's why I mentioned earlier, if I get in on a daily or weekly or even a monthly, I'm getting in a starter position. And then I'm gonna wait for a TTL to add in the rest. Because you don't want to put your full position in, then it goes against you. You're taking big losses. You don't want that. I'd rather be wrong and take a little baby cut than take a big cut on my full position. So one thing that may help you with that is journal those trades that go against you and then check the setup. Is that a setup that is profitable for you? And just review them and see if they're actually good or not. If you find that specific setup for you doesn't work, stop taking it. Another thing, like I mentioned earlier when I was answering Ebony's question, what you say to yourself. If the trade was highly profitable and it's one of your best trades and it went against you, you were simply on the wrong side of probability. And that's okay. If we get in a trade and we think we're going to win, you already failed. You can't go into the trade thinking that I'm going to win. Instead, tell yourself, this trade has a high probability of winning. If it goes against me, it is what it is. I was on the wrong side of probability. So change your words and maybe even change the way you view it, like your perception of it. That'll help you like not get upset or make you mad or mentally not want to get back into a trade or get into a trade. Because, if you get in a trade and it keeps on going against you, your brain is going to be like, all right, I don't want to do this anymore. This is upsetting. This is that. Let me know if that's resonating or making sense. Cool. Perfect. So yeah, journal your trade and see if those setups work for you. And if they don't, stop doing them. And if they do, keep on doing them. Another thing, when you're doing that journaling exercise, make sure that trade is based off proper analysis and not you just thinking that it's going to do that. Because if you are thinking or feeling, it's not going to work out well for you. Cool. So with that being said, you're welcome. Next question, or again, for those, you can come off mute and just ask me a question, or you could type it in the chat and I'll answer it. So next question, please. And also, I think some people mentioned to me what this box is. I mentioned it earlier before everybody came in at 9, but this indicator my friend made for me. Basically, you just plug in. Oh, give me one sec.
I've got a quick question too, when you're done.
Yep. Basically, you can just add in your tickers and the time frame that you're on the chart. It's going to show up the setups on that. So if I go to NQ, there's going to be a 2-1 on the daily. If I go to 4-1 or whatever, it's going to show all of that stuff. If you are interested in it, just DM me directly on whatever platform you know me on. That sounds like my good friend Jordan. I knew
What's
it.
up, man?
Hey, man, how are you?
So my question kind of ties back to what you're saying with like job security and how sometimes like trading for a living can be kind of scary. But so do you have any advice on how to like really deal with red days? Because for me, I'm noticing like on red days, they pretty significantly impact my like mental state for, the next day or even just for the rest of that day. Like I could have made, 3 green days the last 3 days and was feeling great. But then that one red day, even if it was, not too big, but just a red amount, I feel so negative for the day. So just how if I feel like if I could better deal with my red days, I would be on a much better track.
Now, just to reflect back to make sure I'm understanding properly, you're asking when you have your red days, how can you better either talk to yourself or even just like manage your thought process when that happens without it affecting your personal life so much, and even
Yeah.
and by that affecting your trading life?
Exactly. Because losses are, a normal part of being a trader. Like you're going to have red days. So you got to like be able to deal with those as a completely normal part of it.
I will answer this question based on, of course, our time when, since we worked together before, but also in the sense of like, I'll say some other things, but one thing that's very important is to ask yourself why that happens. Like, why does my mind go to that point? Like, for example, before I became profitable full time and I was taking these losses, I will talk. This goes back to how you speak to yourself and how you view and perceive things. Every time I lost a trade, I'll be like, "Oh, you suck. You're no good at trading. This and this and that. You'll never get this right. You'll never succeed." All that. That is detrimental to your mind and the way you view yourself and the way you respond to things. So, for example, when you're getting those, like when you take the loss, what happens? What is the thought process behind it? Like, what is the process behind the emotional response? Like, and of course, if you're not comfortable, you don't have to share it here. But, for example,
all right, go ahead.
When you lose a trade, why do you feel angry or sad or upset or things like that?
Well, I guess a big factor for me was like when I kind of came into this in June, I found a lot of success initially. And then after having a full month of like, I only had 2 red days in all of June, and that felt really good. And then it's, come July, I only had like 5 green days. So it's like I felt like I had, know what I was doing, like I was feeling pretty confident. And then it seemed like just out of nowhere that just slipped off. So now for me, it's like whenever I'm on, like a green streak and I'm feeling like I'm starting to kind of figure it out again, and I have that red day, I'm like, oh no, is this like the beginning of the slip? Like, was everything else just luck? Like, what's going on,
Perfect. So what I'm getting from you is that, or from what I'm getting from what you just told me, is you have some trauma around from when you went from a green month to a red month. And because of all those losses and red days, every time you take a loss, your brain is immediately taking that emotion and tying it into the memory of all those red days in July. Like you just mentioned, oh shit, I lost a trade. Is this the beginning of July again? your brain is immediately going back to that time when that was happening. So what I would recommend you to do, or what I would do, is every time you lose a trade, tell yourself, hey, Jordan, I was simply on the wrong side of probability. If you were, I'm gonna say something else. If you were on the wrong side of probability, it is what it is. You got stopped out. It sucks. Yes, it's okay. Take some time to just reflect back and see, all right, was this trade a loss because I was on the wrong side of probability? Or was this trade a losing trade because I broke my rules? And when we break our rules, it's a little more upsetting than if we were just on the wrong side of probability. Not only that, but I do recommend looking, not just you, but this is just a general statement to everybody. If you have like trauma surrounding certain things, I do recommend therapy to, help you with those traumas. Like for example, for myself, well, actually, before I go into that, is all that making sense so far, Jordan?
Yeah, it's making a lot of sense.
And like why those things come up for you?
It really, yeah, that probably is exactly what's happening.
And bro, that was a huge thing for me when I was like in my dark phase of trading and like dark phase of my life. Every time I took a loss, I'll talk bad about myself. My dreams will like blow up in my mind. Like, you'll never do this, you'll never do that. And it was only until like I really changed the way I viewed things and the way I talked to myself and the way I said things that it helped me overcome that barrier and that block. Another thing, like I mentioned, for those who are here now, as opposed to earlier, I got myself a life coach, and he really, really like, Jacob, if you ever see this, love you. Freaking help me really, really flip my life around. And, that was a really big component of where I am today. So I invite all of you either to get a coach. Also, therapy. Therapy is very big. Therapy can really help you get out of certain traumas that you may have, whether it be with your life, money, whatever. There are people who provide that service. So I'm not a therapist. I did graduate to be a therapist, but I like coaching better. I don't have to work for anybody else. Anyway, so yeah, I recommend possibly looking into some therapy. There are free options out there. If there is anybody in here who does know of any options that may be, for low income or free or stuff like that, please DM me and I'll add it in the follow-up email for this session. But yeah, the book that I sent you as well, what to say when you talk to yourself, literally practice that every day. One last thing, do you have affirmations that you tell yourself every day?
I do not.
So affirmations every single day. I'm going to send you a video.
Perfect.
Actually, I'll send everybody a video. And let me make a note of that. Cool. Answering all your questions, or that answered questions and stuff?
Yeah, that was good. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Cool. So the next question, Maya or Mia, let me know if I pronounced it the first, second time, Maya or Mia. She asked, how do I create a trading plan while working a 9 to 5? Cool. Perfect. Now, you can come off mute if you want to. I sent you the little prompt, or you can just type in the chat. She asked, how do I create a trading plan while working a 9 to 5? Cool. So, in your job, are you in front of a computer? Are you like, moving around a lot? How is your job set up?
Hello, it
Hey.
is Maya. I'm actually a medical assistant in a really busy office, but the surgeon I work for is only in on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So it kind of give me Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to even look or focus or be in the Discord, which I love because I can see more than I used to when I was with another doctor. But since I've been able to actually look and follow suit with everyone, I see that I don't have a plan. So I can see good things that I think is going, and I'm like, oh, well, it did do what I wanted to do. But I don't know when to jump in.
Got it. Got it. All right. Perfect. Great question. So, and I'm going to reflect back just to make sure that I'm understanding. So what you're asking is ultimately with your current work schedule, how can you better plan your trades out? And how can you better possibly create a trading system that works with you with your current lifestyle and your current work schedule, right?
Correct.
Perfect. Cool. So first and foremost, before you get into any trade, it must be planned out. What is your entry? What is your stop loss? What is your take profits? If you do not have that, there is no trade. Second, at nighttime, spend 30 minutes, maybe an hour, creating a watch list of 2 to 3 tickers maximum that you are going to be looking at. Don't worry about what other people are looking at. You can take from either my watch list, other people's watch list. However, create a watch list for you and look at those 2 tickers. Honestly, pick 2 tickers, master them. Don't jump around from ticker to ticker because each ticker is it may be a little different to trade. Like I trade Pfizer very differently than I would trade Apple or Amazon or Google, stuff like that. So pick 2 tickers and stick to them. Are you relatively new to trading?
I would say relatively new because I actually traded this year, Procter and Gamble and Coca-Cola. But again, like just coming up with a trading plan. I think that's why I stopped.
Like creating a watch list.
Yeah, like focusing better on, just like you said, 2 tickers versus trying to see so much, and it was very overwhelming. But yes, like so now the last couple of months I've been just looking at, just SPY. I just been looking consistently just to follow something. But as to say like the last week, like, oh, okay, well, my thoughts were right. Like it was gonna do this or it did do that. So it look better, it feel better, but it's just now what I saw, how do I apply it, I guess.
It's literally just that, just applying it. Now, if you're asking more so like as well as like, oh, how do I create a watch list? How do I when do I determine to get in? Stuff like that as well.
Yeah, like when do I determine to say with confidence, like where, okay, no, let me say it like this. I'm sorry. If I wanted to be a swing trader and I wanted to get in on a Monday and get out on a Wednesday or a Friday, or if I wanted to hold for a month, like where do I enter it? Like, is it the daily? Is it the 4 hour? Is it the 1 minute? Like, I think that's where I'm a little confused at too.
Perfect. Thank you for cleaning that up. All right, cool. If I'm taking a trade on the 4 hour, daily, weekly, monthly, I am going to be choosing, well, so for 4 hour and daily swings, I usually do 14 DTEs to 30 DTEs minimum. I don't do anything less than that.
Oh.
Here earlier, I am very conservative and I like to be safe.
Yeah.
4 hour and daily triggers, excuse me, I get 14 DTEs minimum. If you want to be even safer, get a 30-day DTE. If it's the weekly, I choose anywhere from 30 to 45. 45 minimum would be safer for a weekly setup. Remember, the higher the time frame, the more the move is going to take to play out. So you want to give yourself time. You don't want to get You don't want to get a 5 DTE when it's like a weekly setup, because theta, it's gonna really eat up it's really gonna eat up your gains. And if it doesn't hit your first weekly target by Friday, rest in peace. Contract's gonna be at 0. So 4-hour daily, 14 DTE to 30 minimum. If you are new to swing trading, I recommend 30 days. It'll be easier for you to manage the position and stuff like that. If it's a weekly, or if it's a weekly, 30 to 45 days minimum. If it's a monthly, I myself would go 180 days or even a yearly or a leap contract, because it's going to take time for that to move. If I get on the 5-minute and I get, or the 5-minute, yeah, and this does 2-2 up, and I have a weekly contract, I'm good, because the move is going to take 5 minutes or so to play out. So, you know, if it's a intraday trade, I'm usually trading weeklies, because it's going to be the same day that's going to hit, as opposed to a swing trade that it's going to be that. That answer your question?
It did. It made it more clear. So now I can focus better on those time frames. Okay. Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome. Not only that, lastly, this is just my personal preference that I'll just put out there. I personally don't swing indices. I mainly swing crypto futures, regular stock like options, and Forex, crypto futures, options, and regular stock. Cool. Yeah, those four things I swing. And I don't swing indices personally, because they can be very volatile. One day you may, you know, if there's news and you got a short position and you got 3 DTE, it goes against you, you are going to be very upset. Or if you get a 1 DTE for an index, then you're going to be upset. However, you know, I do know people who swing indices like no problem. They just trade like regular stock, or, you know, like individual stock, and it works out for them. For me, it doesn't work, so I don't do it. So what I recommend for you, if you are going to swing, look at individual stocks. I usually recommend people who are new, like Apple. It's relatively cheap for swings. Pfizer, Coca-Cola, Kroger, stuff like that. Those contracts are pretty cheap. Oxy, they're relatively cheap for the contracts, and the deltas are pretty great, especially on Coca-Cola and Kroger. So you'll get like a 14 DTE for like $60 to $80 in the money, and the delta's like 40, 50. So look into that. Or I would look at that. So, you know, and again, I would paper trade as you practice, because it doesn't make sense to lose real money as you're learning. Cool. Let me know if that resonated, made sense, and I'll continue on.
Yes, it did. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Cool. So before I go into other questions, bear with me, everybody. I'm a little backed up. Esper said, "How much work should I put into mentality versus technical analysis?" Honestly, I think they should put equal parts, if not more, for the mentality portion, because trading is 80% mentality, mindset, emotional regulation, and 20% technical analysis, or like the mechanics of trading. Because I can tell you, hey, Esper, when you get in this trade, 3-2 bear rev, get in your position. However, if you don't have the mentality stuff or the emotional side down, this trade, I'm relaxed. My stop hasn't been hit. My target hasn't been hit. However, for you, well, not you, but like, you know, if the individual doesn't have the mentality down or the emotional side down or the emotional control or managing down, then your brain's going to start panicking. Oh my God, look, it bounced off from here. We need to get out of the trade because it's going to go back and take our profits. Let's get out right now. But it hasn't even played out yet. So in my opinion, or not in opinion, I will say this with utmost confidence. You need to put equal parts, if not more so, into the emotional side, mental side of training for when it comes to your trading. Because like I said, I can give you the trades, I can give you my strategy. But if you don't have the mental aptitude, or let me not say mental aptitude, but if you don't have the mental training to stay in these trades, then you're not going to succeed. Like if I'm on the daily time frame, all the higher time frames are bearish. Somebody might be on the 30-minute, like if it was here, oh my God, it did a hammer, 2 up. I got to get out of this trade. It's reversing on me. But it's like, dude, the daily and other time frames are stronger than that. You're good. Don't worry about that. Anyway, let me know if that answers your question, Esber.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see. Brown mentioned they need a better understanding of reading volume. I personally don't read into volume that much anymore. You can use it in conjunction with your trades. Like for example, again, I just trade full strat and like using fibs from Trust. Thank you, my good man. Appreciate you. If you're trading, like I used to look at volume a lot more when I used to like trade like breakouts and things like that. So if once it broke out, if I saw it was with volume, it'll give me more confidence, say, in the trade. But I don't really look at volume too much. Maybe I'll look at it like, all right, this was a three down or whatever. And it was like big sell volume or higher sell volume than the previous day. Then it triggered a 3-2 down, cool. And the time frames are bearish. Now I got more confluence based on volume. Let me know if that made sense. But again, I don't really pay much attention to volume as much as I did because my trading style was much different than I used to. Cool. Lynette, I'll get back. I'll answer your question. Let me see. Oh, Jordan was just responding to something. Jay said, okay, so if I find the setup I like on the 4-hour, I can look on the lower time frames to get in, but should go back to the 4-hour to monitor once I am in my trade. Yes. One mistake that I did, and I'm gonna share this with you guys in a bit. In my rule list, my 13th rule is do not look at the ticker when it's a swing trade. For example, if I'm on the daily time frame and I'm taking the swing trade, what am I doing on the 5-minute? Unless it's looking for a TTO. I have no business on being on the 5-minute unless I'm looking to add more to my position on a TTO, or if I'm looking to add in the rest of my position. So I do not look at the chart once the trade is established and I get it on my TTO. Because you're gonna get scared, and that's gonna it might trigger your emotional brain to get scared, and you don't want that. You want to be focused and logical when you're trading. All right, cool. Lynette. Also, before I continue, Joe or Jay, does that answer your question? Perfect. Thank you. So Lynette asked, do you choose in the money, at the money, or out the money? What determines your choice? So Lynette, it really depends on what I'm trading, honestly. If I'm trading Coca-Cola, more than likely I'm choosing in the money because in the money is super cheap and the deltas are high. Now, let's say, I'll just go on the 15 just for the, oh, I'm already here. Whoops, it's the hour. Let's say for the sake of the conversation, I am going long on this trade. Whoops. And then let's say my stop is down here for the sake of the convo. I would never take this trade because, anyway, moving on. Let's say, all right, I get in here. My first target is 132.95. more than likely what I'm going to do is on my strike price is going to be 133 because it's near my first target. Now, if the target is pretty far away, like $5-7 away, usually I'll do a closer to at the money as I can based on my position sizing for that trade, or my max position size for my trade. An alert just went off. Interesting. Let me know if that answers your question, Lynette. Can I type it in the chat, yes or no? And then I'll explain a little more if I have to. Also, after I read this next question, I'm gonna take 2 more questions, and then I'm gonna transition to the next portion of the Q&A. So how far out the money, you mean in the sense of like how long are my expirations? Like how much time am I getting on those contracts? Also, how far at the money? Let's say here. Sorry, just to be clear, you mean how far in the contracts at the money that I'm choosing? Cool. So again, it really depends. If the discrepancy is pretty far, like for a day trade, like let's say here, price range, let's say this target to this target, that's about $2. I would probably do a one strike away for that trade instead of 2 strikes away. But you can choose like 2. Hold on, let me just move the screen real quick because the zoom thing is in my way. So from this to this entry here, that's about, yeah, $2. You can choose the 135 strike if you want, but I would probably do the 134. Depending if the spreads are better. If the spreads are better for the 135, I'll go for the 135. But usually, if it's like something far like that, I do like $1 away if it's like big stocks. But if it's like small stocks like Neo, Kroger, Pfizer, stuff like that, I go in the money. And like I mentioned earlier, I usually, if it's a swing, at least 2 weeks on a 4-hour and daily time frame. For the weeklies, I go 35, 45 more, et cetera, et cetera. Cool. Answer your question? Yeah, that too. You'll have to decide what type of trader you want to be. Depending on your lifestyle and your work, you may be more inclined to be a swing trader. Some people, what's going on? Oh, nice. Cool. Yeah, you're going to decide what's going to work best for you. So with that being said, after this question, I'm going to answer 1 more, and then I'll get over to the next session or the next portion of the Q&A. And for those who missed it, essentially, I'm gonna have the Q&A section. Then the next section is going to be like where I share the bonus, which whoever's been here, you'll hear that. And then I'm gonna give like a lesson, something that I want to share with you guys for this specific Q&A. Cool. So I'm not sure who it is because you have like Zoom user as your name, but they asked, do you think a 20% is, I'm assuming they mean stop loss. Do you think a 20% is too large or too small? Also, when the spread is tight, is it okay to take market or should we always use limit order? So the first question, you can respond back to this or you can come off mute. Let me actually ask you to unmute. You can come up mute if you choose to. If not, you can just ask right there. So the first question, do you mean 20% as like a stop loss?
Yeah, I'm sorry, Rob. I meant to say a 20% trail stop, correct?
Perfect. So like I mentioned this earlier, I'll go into for a little bit now, but I won't go too deep into it. But essentially, each trade is different. for example, a trade on Pfizer might be a 30% stop loss. However, because of the contracts and how they are priced, might not hit my usual stop loss. Like, for example, a 30% on Pfizer may not give me like the max loss of 2.5% on my account that I'm willing to risk on each trade. As opposed to on SPY, a 20% loss on that specific contract might hit my 2.5% max loss per trade. So you always just have to gauge it by the setup. Like, for example, in this trade, if I would have, like for Bitcoin on this one, if I got in here and then, you know, oops, got in there, stop loss is there, take profit, first take profit is here. This trade, let's just say, you know, it's gonna, let's just assume we're trading options with the stop of $15 against me. It may be 15% based on that contract as opposed to 20-25%. So you always have to gauge it, and you can like kind of see the deltas and see how it would move and use that calculators. Like Webull has a calculator, Thinkorswim has a calculator, and you just decide based on the stop loss if that's going to be worth it to you.
That makes sense.
Cool, perfect. And when of course, and thank you for your question. The next thing that he asked was, when the spread is tight, is it okay to take market, or should we always use limit order? So there are conflicts on this, and I will share with you my personal preference. 90% of the time, I do limit, and some of the times I do market. If I want to get in the trade, I do market, or I buy the ask, because when I hit buy the ask, it's going to create a limit order at that specific price. That way, if it goes up, it might come back down and fill me on the limit. If the spreads are, well, specifically for your question, is if the spread is tight, like if it's $2 or $3, personally, I don't mind taking those $2 or $3 in discrepancy. However, depending on the stock, like if it's SPY, even though I don't trade options on indices anymore, I trade futures on them, like, you know, ES, NQ, stuff like that. But if I were to trade SPY, I used to buy the ask or buy market, sometimes depending on the move, but for the most part, limit or buy the ask.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. I appreciate you, man.
Of course, you're welcome. Cool. So, and yeah, like Brown mentioned, it depends on your account size and like your risk tolerance, stuff like that. Cool. So taking the last question, and then we'll get to the next part. I'll give about 30 more seconds, and if not, we'll continue to the next part. And you can come off mute if you choose to. That's okay. If it doesn't let you unmute yourself, let me know, and I'll ask to mute, and I'll send you the prompt.
I have something to briefly discuss if nobody else has a question.
Go for it.
We kind of talked about it a little bit earlier today, just in the channel, but I was just kind of thinking about, like, because I went over my trades from last week, this weekend, and I closed last week down $112. But upon review, had I properly held my contracts to actual strat targets instead of just my random arbitrary exit point, I would have closed up 700 on the week. So do you have any like more mental fortitude type of advice on how to, you know, hold my contracts to that first target, even if it's kind of far away, and to make sure I'm actually holding that runner to be a runner, and rather than just, cutting it a few points later.
So just to be clear and reflect back, you're asking how can you better hold your trades longer, and what can you do? What steps can you do to do that, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. So like I mentioned earlier, look at the time frame. If there's no reversal on you on that time frame, you're good to stay in, especially, and look at the higher time frame. Don't get scared out on the smaller one when the higher one's telling you what's going on. Excuse me. Second thing, two things that you can do. Write a note on your screen, or like post it, whatever. Place, freaking slap it somewhere, or print it out like I do with my rules, and keep it somewhere where you're gonna see it. Stay in your trades. Make sure you don't get out of your trades. Breathe. Work on, do all those things. Second, since you are trading futures on the funded account, we can do bracket orders. Put in your trade to stop loss, take profit, walk away.
That is something that I would like to do. However, I can't, like, it doesn't let me do a partial close. So like if I have my bracket order set up with 3
Yeah.
contracts and I want to close 2 at one target and then have it auto adjust it down to 1. So I'd end up like staying and watching for the first target, and then I get shook out, and then I like set my bracket for my runner and just walk away. But my bracket for my runner has a set sell point. So it's like, I should just be walking the stop down with each candle, but rather, I'll just pick like, okay, here's where I'm selling my runner if it hits there. So I'll get like 4 extra points, and then it would have dumped, 20 points in my direction. And I'm like, dang.
So yeah, that happens. And it's also like, besides that, it's like, if it keeps on going, like I said, just do more top down analysis. What's the higher one doing? Then go for the lower ones. So put that on your screen, whatever helps you. Walk away. If it's gonna hit your first target, or like you want to partial out, then just either, even though it's a little more like rules, since it's a funded account and the trailing stop loss, you can set your, just keep on walking the stop down. For example, let me just show you, it'll be easier.
When would you move your stop to break even? So like if a trade is like first target is like 12 points away, your stop is only like 5 points away, like, 5-point stop. After it gets to, a certain point, do you move your stop to break even, or you just say like, I'm getting all 12 points or I'm taking the loss? Like, I guess, how do you go about that for first target?
So let's say that I get on this short.
I have a really good oil short if you want to talk about that one.
Perfect.
I think it was
That'll be
on,
better.
let me look at my notes one sec.
Also, Mo Betta asked if I'm sharing this recording. Yes, so we've actually been here for 2 hours because it started at 8 p.m. There was just an error with Calendly. However, moving forward, all these sessions will be at 8 p.m. until stated otherwise, Eastern.
So if you want to go to Monday to this week, last week.
I'll show you this trade right here.
Oh, okay.
Well, Monday. Well, I'll show you this trade. The recording is gonna be on YouTube. If you know me on Instagram, whatever, just click on my bio, click on the link tree, and it's gonna have the YouTube link there. You can like it, you can subscribe, which I'll greatly appreciate, and you'll see the replay there. When it's done processing, I'll probably upload it tonight. If not, tomorrow morning it'll be there. So this trade here, let's say you get in, here's your stop, and then let's just say your targets. So you get in here, let me get this out the way. You get in there, your first target, boom, second target, boom, which the first candle hit, right?
Yeah.
Actually, the first candle hit is 2.
1 and 2, right?
Technically 3, but this one is like super close, so I don't really care about it. Let's say the third one's here, hit 3 targets. Once it hits, oh, thank you. Ja posted it on the chat for those who don't have it. I appreciate you. So now what I'm going to do is one of 2 things. I can either keep my original stop, move it to break even, or I can move it to the first target, I mean.
But
Right.
before your first target gets hit, you never move your stop.
No, you never ever move your stop. If you move your stop, there's something that needs to be looked at, which I will actually be talking about it after this.
So that's what ends up getting me a lot of the time is like, let's say, how far is that first target point wise?
2 ticks.
Or the first target for take profit.
Oh.
It's about 17, 20. Okay. So like, let's say it's 20 ticks to that first target and it pushes down like 18 and then kind of pulls back to like 15, right? So in my mind, I'm going, do I really want to, potentially give up? Like I'm risking that 5 tick difference from like 15 to 20 to make that, or I'm risking all 15 going back and stopping me out. So that's when I'll just like cut out, it almost made it to my first target and then pulled back. So I'll just cut my first target here. I guess I gotta like trick myself somehow to be like, no, just hold it to first target no matter what.
It's not even tricking yourself. It's like I mentioned, is that emotional regulation. Like, are you breathing? Are you practicing the breathing exercises when that happens?
Not in a trade. It's normally like after a trade. I'm like, man, you're kind of silly.
It's in the trade that we need to do it as well. Before, after, during, especially during, because that's your emotional mind right there.
Yeah.
Oh shit, it's at 19, didn't hit 20. All right, I gotta take some off.
Yeah, this Monday trade I was talking about, I took profit at 20 ticks and then at 35, and the first exit signal was 3.5 points later.
Beautiful. And
But
then
I didn't catch 3.5 points. I got 30 ticks.
then when you got out of that trade, you're like, what was I thinking?
Yeah.
Why did I do that?
I came back at the end of the day and I'm like, really, dude?
That's the emotional brain, man. I'm telling you. Sorry, I think it was Esber who asked it. That's why I say the mentality is very important. The mentality and mindset and emotional regulation is very, very important for you to get down, because then things like this are gonna happen to you, where you would have made shit like 100 ticks, but you only made 30.
Yeah. That trade right there, I can tell you, I would have probably been fully out by that broadening formation.
This move right here is freaking beautiful.
Yeah, and I probably would not have stopped out at that entry signal near the bottom.
The stop loss is here. This never reversed on you. 2 and 2 continuation down. Keep on going down, and then it reversed here. You can get out there if you want.
1.25. Yeah.
Yep, that's 160 ticks. That's $100. That's
160 bucks for a mini, which is what I'm trading.
Hold on, let's do some math real quick. Let's say you had even one contract times, that's $10 times 160. That's $1,600 one contract. However,
yeah.
I'm be taking profit, and that's on the mini, not the micro. But on the micro, you can still make some good money depending on your size. Cool. So yeah, set your take profit, stop loss, walk away. However, I do understand, because with the challenge accounts, they have
trailing drawdown.
Yeah, which is a little annoying. And even with the unrealized. So if I'm up 1,000 and it doesn't hit my target, and then it goes back to entry, I fail the challenge. So I get you.
Yeah, that's always in my head of like, okay, I'm up this much. Do I really want it to, tick away and risk pumping up that trailing stop?
So you can try maybe either lowering your position or partial out as it's getting closer to the target, especially if it's like 2-3 risk reward. And then just keep the rest at stop loss, and let it play out. Let it
if you partial out, let's say I have 5 micro contracts. I like to sell 3 at my first target. Would you so should I move my stop for the remaining 2 to break even after hitting out at the first target?
Absolutely. So that's what I do. As soon as it's the first target, I break even.
That's what I've been doing, so I just wanted to make sure.
Or slightly above break even to make some money on the remainder. And then once it's my first target or second target, I'll bring the stop a little more, either at the first target to stop me out or a little before it.
Okay.
Because right here I had the stop at the stop loss at the first target. If it's the second one, it never stopped me out when it came back up, and then kept on dying out. So you can do that.
Okay.
Let me know how that goes for you. Cool.
Sounds good.
All righty. Thank you. Before I get to the next portion, thank you guys for asking me all those questions. I love helping ya. Truly appreciate this. Before I move on to the next portion, is it okay if I talk a little on how to work with me for those who are unsure or don't know? Give me a yes or thumbs up. Anyone would work. Cool. Thank you. So for those who don't know, like I mentioned, I do coach traders, but I am also a life coach. So with even your own personal life, I assist you with that. I'm going to give you guys a link in the description, and whoever's watching the replay of this, you will see this in the description section. So I'm gonna send these links to you in just a bit. So again, what I mainly focus on is, the mentality side of trading. I do teach people how to trade, whether you're a beginner, experienced, like I've taught traders of like day one trading to 11 years trading. I have the whole spectrum. But again, I mainly focus on like the mentality stuff, but I do help people with more so with their mentality, emotional regulation, stuff like that. That's one of my really, really, really big passion of mine. So with the links that I'm about to drop in the chat, here's my Gumroad. On my link tree, it has my, oh, whoops. Sorry about that. I send it directly to Esber. This is my Gumroad link. And in my Calendly link, you can find it on my link tree. It'll say book a one-on-one. It has all my other services. And on my Gumroad there, it has all my services and products as well. Here's a direct link to my mentorships. And you'll see my one-on-one links in there as well. And also for the bonus, for those who are here and who are still here, I'd like to offer you all 15% off to all my products and services. You can use that code 15, well, let me not say it to reward everybody who's physically here. You can use that code there on any of my products and services, specifically on the Gumroad. If you want to use Calendly, let me know and I'll have to just create another version for that. And again, because everybody loves bonuses and surprises, I have another one for you. For those who are listening to this right now, I want to offer you 25% off, which is going to last until we end this session. So if you want the 25% off, message me, I'm ready, on whatever you know me on, Discord, Reddit, Instagram, whatever. You have until the end of this, until this session ends to message me, I'm ready, and I'll give you the 25% off code. And whoever is not here, make it next time. Moving on. So again, send me a message on whatever platform you know me on with I'm ready, and I'll send you that code, which both these codes expire next Sunday at midnight. So these are not forever. Keep that in mind. Second, I only have 2 more slots available for my mentorship. So if you are considering or looking at that, just putting that out there. Time is ticking. Cool. So without further ado, I'm going to get to the next portion. Does anybody have any questions on that? My services, products, things like that? And also the way I coach is it'll be Zoom sessions similar to this. They're an hour and 15 minutes long. You have full access and full support from me. If you do a one-on-one session, you have 5 days of full access to me through Telegram. I usually prefer Telegram because I can send voice notes. And by full access, I mean full access. If you got to hit me up, call me, whatever, I'll get back to you when I can, and we'll go through whatever you need help with. Like, hey, if you're in a trade, hey, Desi, what do you think about this? I'll look at it, or hey, Desi, I'm having trouble with X, Y, and Z, or I'm having questions about what we went over. Can you, X, Y, whatever it is, full access. I just had an argument with this person. I'm feeling this, I'm feeling that. Just hit me up and I'll support you as best I can. For the mentorship, it's a 6-week long program. You get 4 one-on-one sessions with me and 6 weeks of full access to me. And like I mentioned, when I say full access, I mean full access. So hit me up, please, for anything. Cool. You guys have any questions on that? And you can see the details on the links that I posted in the chat here. Cool. Any questions you guys have before we move forward on what I just mentioned, on how to work with me and on my services? Come off mute, type it in the chat, whatever works. All righty. So again, for the 25% off, if you do want that, just message me. I'm ready prior to this session ending, or else you will not qualify for it. And again, both these offers end this upcoming Sunday at midnight. So with that, all that being said, let's move on. So one thing that I want to share with you guys today is what our emotions are telling us. And this will be about 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes before we fully end. So, and also, whoever has something to write down, write stuff down with, or write this in your phone, wherever, write this down somewhere. Emotions are just signals calling us to action. Cool. What does that mean? When you get angry, upset, whatever it may be, whether in trading, your regular life, but let's keep it to trading for now. When those emotions pop up, what is that emotion telling us? What is that emotion telling us? Hey, we need to look at this. For example, let's say you get into a trade and you start panicking and you're moving your stop loss. That anxiety, that fear is telling us, hey, when we get in trades where we get anxious, we get emotional. So what can we do to fix this? What can we do to change this? And to go a little more in detail, what is the root cause of the current issue? Impatience, greed, fear, anxiety, all that stuff. Give you an example. I'll give you an example. Let's say if it's greed, you're up 200%, 100% on a trade, and you don't take it and you let it go red. What is the root cause of that greed? Is it that you lost money on like 10 trades and you want to make all that back in one trade? Is it that you want to make money in your trading to get to improve on your life, or like to get to the next level in your life, to quit your job, what have you? Let me know if that's making sense before I continue. Give me a yes, thumbs up in the chat. Cool. Perfect. So are you being greedy because you want to get back all those losses, which I'm going to tell you is not going to work. Those losses, they're done. Don't worry about that. Because when we focus on the losses, we're not focusing on the money that wants to come to us. We're too preoccupied in the past. We got to be mindful and present in the moment. So, what is the root cause of that emotion while we're trading? And when we figure out what the root is, we can catch it at the root as opposed to as opposed to just like, oh yeah, I'll just stop trading for a day, or I'll just look for a better play or whatever. Also, Stop calling your trades plays. This is a business. We're not here to play. We're here to make money. So when these emotions come up, don't ignore or push them away. Turn towards them and resolve them through understanding. Take a step back. All right. Like for me, when I was still working and trading and wanted to be a full-time trader and leave my job and live life the way I wanted to, I would get greedy, or I would get upset when I would lose a trade or not take my money and then end up red. And I'll be like, oh, you know, I'll get super mad, but I would never take the time to sit down and really sit with my emotions and my thoughts. So for me, the reason why those things were happening is because the root cause of me being greedy or fearful was me wanting to leave my situation. So I didn't take my profit because I was like, oh, if I just hold a little longer, I'll make 1,000 instead of just being at 900. I'm like, dude, you made $900 like 4 days. Take it. That's more than a week of you working. Take it. But you know, it got in the way. Got some losses, X, Y, and Z. Thankfully, all that's fixed. So, turn towards your emotions and understand them, and then from there, create a plan with what will help you to remove them. And again, this is something that I help with and that I work with, or you know, that I help clients and students with. Jordan asked, if you don't mind sharing, how much money did you have saved when you went full-time? Or rather than a money amount, how many months did you have secured to try full-time trading? I mentioned this before you came in. I had 2 years worth of savings before I quit my job. Again, some people, they would do 6 months. Some people would do 1 month, 1 year. I'm very conservative and I like to be safe. So I did 2 years of like all my bills fully paid out, or like, you know, all my bills that can be paid before I did that. And it actually, by me waiting to do that, it actually postponed my full-time trading to be a full-time trader. But again, I wanted to set myself up for success and not like, you know, be super anxious. Cool. So with all that being said, does all that make sense to you guys on like why you need to, like why emotions are signals calling us to action and why you need to turn towards them as opposed to go away from them? Perfect. Yeah, like Jordan said, you got to face your fears to beat them. And you got to be honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, it's going to be a problem. Cool. I'll probably end in about 5 more minutes. So whoever does want that 25% off code of all my services and products, message me. I'm ready on any of the platforms you know me on before this session is over. The 15% off code is in the chat. And for those who registered, we'll be getting that in the email, in the follow-up email. Cool. Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah, it was an issue with Calendly where like it said 9 p.m. and, you know, but it's cool. Lastly, I want to share this phrase or this quote with you that I got from this lecture, which I'll actually send to you. I think it was by Randy Pausch. I think that's his name. I could be wrong. I don't want to butcher it. Sometime during his presentation, he said this. He said, brick walls show us our dedication. That like blew my mind. And like it was such a powerful and impactful phrase, because he was mentioning like, if you're on your path, if you're on your journey and you know where you want to get to, and you see a brick wall, there's going to be 2 types of individuals. You're going to see that wall in 2 different ways. Oh shit, here's a brick wall. Well, time to turn back, or time to just sit down and be comfy where I am now. Or, oh, there's a brick wall. Cool. I'm going to find some way. I don't know how, but I'm going to figure out a way to break down this wall. because my goals and my dreams are on the other side of that wall. What I want is on the other side of that wall. So I'm going to do everything that I can to get on the other side of that wall. I'm not going to just stay here. So if you are serious about getting to that other side, and you are serious about getting where you need to get to, continue the journey. Don't take no for an answer. Don't accept defeat. Keep on moving through it. Lastly, in regards to this, Bonita said, every hurdle you conquer gets you to greatness. Absolutely. We passed that section that we were at, and we become a better version of ourselves. And Jordan, you absolutely will. You will get to the other side of that wall. I believe in each and every single one of you. Whatever goals and dreams you guys have, you will make it happen. Also, the last thing that I'll mention is, don't ever look at something to get to your goal as, oh, I should do this. Commit to doing this. Look at it as, I must do this to get to where I want to. Not that I should, I must do this to get to my goal. Cool. Anyway, let me know if all of that resonated. Before we get off, I want everybody type in the chat, what was your biggest takeaway from this session? Definitely just breathe. All the mental approaches, love it. Esber, thank you so much for being honest and sharing that. Comfortability. Comfortability will really keep us stagnant, and that's not going to help us get where we need to. Jordan said, well, Esper said, your take about comfortability getting in his way really hit a nerve. Again, for those listening, if you're comfortable, you're not going to push yourself. Why do I want to go be uncomfortable at the gym, waking up early, doing my routines, doing this, doing that? I'm in bed, I'm comfy. Jordan said, it's okay to be emotional, but you have to face those emotions and learn how to work with them, make them work for you. Absolutely. Absolutely. Face your fears, face your emotions, and trust me, it'll really change your life and your trading. Brown Ocean said, letting past losses go and the root of my mentality when it comes to trading. 100%. Those losses are over and done with. Let them go. Focus on what you're going to be getting now, and what you can do in this present moment to attain those new wins. Cool. Last call for the 25% off code. DM me, message me on Instagram, whatever you need to before I head out. Again, for those who are here and the replay, this is going to be posted up in about either tonight by midnight Eastern. If not, in the morning time, it'll be good to go. I'll follow up with all of you and send you a follow-up email with the 15% off code. And also for those who ask me about this script here that shows the time frames, and it tells you if the signal is there on that specific time frame. For those who did message me, I'll be getting back to you on that. For those who do want it, just message me privately and I'll get back to you. Really quickly to show you how it works. My friend made it for me. Shout out to you, Rafi. Appreciate you. Essentially, you can literally put in whatever symbols you want, tickers, and you put it on the graph. If I'm on the 4-hour time frame, it's showing these setups here. When it lights up, that means that it has it on that time frame. So Amazon has a triple insight on the 4 hour. Let's see. Oh, right, because it's the new day, so it's all right. Interesting. Is that Amazon? It might be taking extended data into play. So yeah, whatever comes up is going to tell you on that time frame, the setup. That's so weird. This wasn't on earlier. Might be taking info for something else. All right, got to tweak it, Rafi, whenever you hear this. GPB AUD. Let's check that out. I think it was Forex that he got it from, or Rwanda. Yeah, 3-1 setup. And then GPB odd. Yep, on the 4 hour, we got a 3-1 setup. Let's go on the daily. What we got here, we have nothing. Yep, nothing. Showing a hammer. And you can fix right here with the hammer shooter threshold. You can adjust this to show proper hammers. Usually when the candle's open, just I have to adjust mine. But usually it'll show you exactly what's going on the time frames. Let's see. But yeah, if you're interested in this indicator, let me know, hit me up, and I'll let you know. Ja, what you said it was on the scan? What do you mean? Like what I was? Oh, sorry, I get what you meant. Yeah. Perfect. I misread what you were saying. But yeah, it'll light up with whatever setup is there for you. But if you are interested in it, just hit me up and I'll get back to you on that. Cool. Thank you guys so much for coming out. I love helping people. I love helping you. I want to see y'all succeed, get you to where you want to be. I'm here for you. Again, all my links are there. If you do want to work with me, I do have those that discount. Again, these discounts expire next Sunday at midnight. So take advantage of that. And yeah, make a beautiful night. I'll see you on the internet. Sleep well, and I'll send you the follow-up email sometime tonight with all the information. Later. All right, now I gotta awkwardly leave out of here. Later, everyone. And you're very, very welcome, all of you.